look at him. I say, yo, one more time. I'm gonna say, fuck this walk, and I'm gonna just pick you up. Took
That
2
big
steps,
ass
did it
dog.
again. I picked his ass up. Look, I just took it off. I was like, come here. Yeah, we gonna walk just like this. Walk. We get to walking. I get to walking. I went up some stairs with him. I said, I ain't carrying you. And you better walk.
But you had to send a
Oh,
message. It won't happen again.
it was. Oh no, he did it this morning too. I'm like,
Oh,
yo,
never mind. They really be some badass kids though.
I'd be like, yo, you. Well, I'm like, yo, why are you this way? We are on the same team.
You know what? Before I'll tell you, when we first got our dog, it was a shelter dog, and no, I'm sorry, she's 13, not 15, and we had to keep her in a crate when we first got her because she was rambunctious. So my wife would come home for lunch to walk her, and we left a little bed in her crate. She was so defiant. My wife got home one day to walk her, and she had literally ripped the bed to shreds and threw it out the crate. Like, fuck you, ain't gonna leave me up in here.
What is wrong with him?
I don't know
Dogs
what's
are
wrong with
crazy.
them.
Because dogs
Dogs
are
are crazy.
crazy.
They think
They're
they're
crazy.
humans.
Yeah.
They got it made though. They ain't gotta get no job. What a time
Show
to
up,
be
show
alive.
some love.
That's
Listen,
it.
we was having a really good convo before and some pre-pro. I don't know if we can really dive into it, but I want to revisit it for a second to say.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think listen, the more I started when I started really working in corporate, that's when I kind of realized, okay, part of my sport did inherently build in some selfish traits because there is a part of track and field that is very individual, very siloed, and so in that, the mindset that you have to have is one of a kind of how many track athletes have you met in your life?
I was a track athlete. I threw shot.
So you know that there is some delusion to a lot of them, but it's like internal self-belief delusion,
Yeah,
right?
which yeah.
That's right.
Like
Which
I always thought I was the best thrower.
you don't meet many runners who don't think they're the greatest. Now,
Right.
granted, I know that that kind of mindset shows up in other sports, other Olympic sports, other team sports, but specifically in these like Olympic sports, whether it's like swimming, track and field, these Olympic individual type sports. If you understand the type of individual it takes to be in that sport, you understand the type of individual that they were in a team environment, likely if they competed at the collegiate or high school level. So you recognize their contributions, how they view teamwork is, I think, fundamentally a little bit different than how some other people may view teamwork.
That's fair. That's a fair
Right.
assessment.
Right. Because I think they think of it as I do my job, you do your job, everybody's job to get together, and we cohesively should produce. With other people, they're more kumbaya. We move together as one. We do everything together as one. Right. So I think here's what I will say. When you recognize the two different types of teamworks people are used to if they've played sports, you then recognize people who have not played sports and don't really know what true teamwork is. Because teamwork shows up in different ways, but if you really know teamwork, you know when someone really has no idea what it's like to be a true teammate.
Correct.
A true teammate, as we were talking, if somebody was to pass you work because you're part of the project felt onus to own this particular part of an overall portion of the project of the pie, you would expect that the person you're handing it to would, in retrospect, bring you back in just to make sure that your initial vision still makes sense and everything's still smooth sailing in the grandings of the team, right?
Right.
But you were saying that if someone felt the real need to voice the I, that it's justifiable because they want to make sure they get their shine.
I'll say this. It's like, all right, so you go, you train for the 100, you're ready for the 100, and and it's like, no, this is a 4x1. You see what I'm saying? Like you thought you were going to be on your own, and now all of a sudden you have to pass the baton unknowingly to somebody else.
Okay. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
What if you were a previous Olympian at the last Olympics in the 100-meter dash? You trained the next 4 years thinking that not only are you going to make the team again in the 100, but you're trying to medal for sure this time. Like you were right outside the podium last time, but this time you're going to medal this time.
Right.
That's a fair assessment. You would think it's very possible. You made it to the Olympics last time, making the team in the 100, as an individualist. You get to this Olympics though, and you come in 4th at trials, which means you are an Olympian. You're just not an individual Olympian. You're going as a member of the 4x1, not representing the country in the open 1. Tell me then, if you are one of the 3 people who then will go on to represent the U.S., right? But you didn't make it in the last Olympics, but now you made it this Olympics, and now the person on the outside kind of has tuned that on the fact that they're just going for the 4x1. What would you say to that person?
Well, I'm assuming that they would probably want to be the last leg.
This is this
happens. I know.
Like this did happen at this Olympics. Christian Coleman.
Was he the last leg in the 4x1?
He was the first.
He was the first?
You know why? Best start ever. World record holder at 55. Yeah, world record 55. Okay. Was projected to make the Olympic team as a 100-meter finalist. Did it because he came in 4th because no one expected Noah Lyles to do so well.
Okay. It takes some humility, right? Like I'm just saying in a corporate setting.
So what you said? I got because I would say that as selfish as Olympic sport athletes are, I think they are also some of the most humble.
And it has to come with a level of trust in your teammates.
Well,
leadership.
Listen. If you can learn to inherently love and let go and just trust in the process and the people around you that they bring in, listen, can you really be a professional?
You can. It's just harder. You're in situations like this
that's part of being a professional. Yo, you get paid top line dollars to be a wide receiver. Your QB, you start out 1-4. Your QB tears his hamstring on a random ass rollout. Now you out there getting balls from Cooper Rush. But Jerry Jones still looking at you saying, yo, dog, we got to pay you still. The only way you can get paid is if you play. I don't care who the QB is. Yes, you need a QB, but play.
But
you got to do what you got to do.
The receiver is still making plays and getting the ball, though.
Too many people want to be happy and work. Like, too many people want to be happy all the time about everything that they do. And not enough people need to accept that a lot of shit that you do, you won't fucking like. Like, a lot of your everyday life, you won't fucking like. Get the fuck over it.
What did Dom Draper say? That's what the money is for?
That's what the fucking money is for. I mean, like, yo, sometimes I be at work and you just hear the complaints. You just be like, yo, what do y'all like about this bitch? What do we like? What do you enjoy? What? Oh my God. Because now I'm going to sound crazy. Some of the people who always complain about stuff but never do nothing about it. So you enjoy complaining. Okay, so if you enjoy complaining and not doing nothing, take that shit to the death. Because they are the only people who want to hear that. Some of us just got to get up and go get it. No time to complain when you got to go get it.
And I also think it is a reflection on leadership if a teammate is afraid to hand something off to another teammate with a common goal. That is definitely a reflection of leadership in regards to who gets credit and kudos.
Yeah. Because, like, I would honestly say, and I've really been this way for a long time, when it comes to group projects, I could really care less about who gets the credit, who looks the best. If you ask me to speak, I will go up there and speak, and I will probably do a very good job of speaking because I'm a public speaker. But if someone says if the entire group, everyone ends up covering enough of the slides that I don't say anything, well, I'll still be up there being a cheerleader. Like, what is so hard about putting egos to the side? You know why? Because some of you have never put your all into something, almost died for it while training, completely failed, and had to look up in the mirror and still do it the very next day. Oh my God!
I do think sports shape people in a way that others who don't.
Yo, dog, there were days that you would just come to the track, run, die, puke, and go to the track meet, and the time wouldn't get better. What did you die on Tuesday for? What did you spend the whole month of September like barely able to breathe? Dog, yo, people piss me off, bro. Because you want credit for a damn project. For what? So they can pay you $10,000 more? Yeah, $100 extra, couple $100 extra on the paycheck. Really? Yeah, buy them diapers. Buy them diapers or celebrate.
I was about to say,
some of y'all just need to start selling bricks. Hey, some of y'all just need to start selling bricks. If the money, know what I mean?
We don't condone selling bricks.
Welcome to episode 165 of Speak On. I don't know how that just triggered me. That really triggered me.
Yeah, that got personal.
Cause you know what? You remember the Last Dance when Mike was in there like, yeah, everyone says I was this, that, and the third. That's because they ain't won shit.
They ain't won
shit. I feel them. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 165 of Speak On It. You already know when you see this Nas fade, it could only be one brother, the good brother, Los D Mix, of course, joined by the smoothest bald head on the East Coast, Mr. Danny Ocean himself. My good brother, how are we doing on this NBA Cup Tuesday?
We are doing great. Thanksgiving is next week. Got my turkey on Sunday. We starting the process. Okay. Very excited.
Here we go. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, when I said it's an NBA Cup Tuesday, that is because the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers are currently taking on the reigning defending NBA champion Boston Celtics in their, I believe, Group C NBA Cup matchup. I think Celtics lead at the half by like 13.
Oh yeah, they are waxing Cleveland right now.
Man, how have you been? It's been a good week for you. We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about.
We got a lot. It's been
between
a great
fantasy,
week.
Sports. We can start out in fantasy. We do have our guy Kyle Sinra in the building. I want to start out with talking a little dynasty because Rojo low key pissed me off, but he also just really motivated me because I was trying to do really fair business with Rojo, and Rojo really thought he was really trying to make me seem like I went to school with a helmet on. So I don't know. So for anyone who doesn't know, me, Danny, Kyle, Rojo, Bam, and some others are all in a dynasty league right now. It is one of my favorite leagues because it is so much parity in that league. So much parity in that league. Anyway, so in 2020, I think at the next draft, basically, I have Rojo's first and second round picks.
Yep.
Coincidentally enough, Rojo has my first and second round picks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, in this league, picks 5 through 10 currently are randomized.
Yep.
They are randomized. Now, it could change based on the voting at the owners meeting. There is an agenda item that is on there to unrandomize it for playoff teams.
I don't like that.
It's an option. We can vote against it. I will probably vote against it.
But for me,
it's for the non-playoff teams, not the play. No, it's for the playoff teams. It's for the playoff team. So it's not. You still got to win the consolation tournament to get pick number one.
Greg.
Yeah, this is for what this does is picks 5 through 10. It then goes by max points 4.
Okay.
No, it would
go by record, right?
I'm sorry, not max points 4. I'm sorry. It would go by postseason finish with the champion getting 110.
Right.
So do with that what you want. Anyway. So I have Rojo's first and second round pick. Rojo has my first and second round pick. 6 months ago. So when was that? May?
Yeah, May.
I sent Rojo a trade. Straight up. Your first and second round picks for my first and second round picks. I should send them back to each other. He said, why would I do this trade? This makes no sense. And I told him, 6 months ago in May, I think my team's going to make the playoffs. I know your team's going to make the playoffs. In that case, these picks will be randomized. I don't want your picks. I think I said it would behoove us just to take our picks back, because if these are randomized, I kind of want my own picks when they're randomized. I don't really know if I want yours. He says, I don't think you're going to make the playoffs. I said, bet. Guess we'll see. This was in May, 6 months ago. It's in May, before the season started. Coming off last season, he was looking at my team then. I understood it. That was a bad team.
Yep.
At the time. Made some offseason trades. The draft happened. Obviously, I get Malik Neighbors. Then, over the last 2 weeks, I have traded for Khalil Shakir and Jacoby Myers, and I have given up Keaton Mitchell and 3 third-round picks to acquire 2 wide receivers.
Howie Roseman level GM right there.
I think, listen, I literally knew when Not As Soul clowned me for that trade, that was a damn good trade, because everybody hates Vince McMahon. Okay, cool.
Please don't call yourself Vince McMahon.
Listen,
you can just call yourself the commissioner.
Well, everyone hates the commissioner.
Yeah,
it's cool. I knew it, because if that was a bad trade, I would have gotten clowned immediately for that Khalil Shakir trade. Now, the Jacoby Myers trade, I'm not going to hold you. 2/3 for Jacoby Myers, I'm really hoping it pays out. But then again, I still have my picks in that draft anyway, because it's their third-round picks in 26.
Okay.
So I still got some time. So after I make this Jacoby Myers trade, I am trying to get one player off my roster. I'm targeting Noah Brown. So I send you that trade. Yo, dog, I'm trying to sell low on Noah Brown. I almost said, yo, tell me the year. Like, give me your latest draft pick at your latest round, and I would just send the deal. Like, I don't care. You were basically like, I don't want to do it at all. All right, I'm not going to beg you. So then I go to Rojo, and I said, okay, I kind of want to revisit this pick thing again. I literally go back, because I go back and look at the same message 6 months ago, and I say, I kind of want to revisit this again. Are you sure that you don't want to do this? Trade deadline week. Are you sure you don't want to do this? I will send you your first and second if you send it right back to me. He still says, why would I do this? This doesn't make any sense. And I say, I'm in the playoffs right now, and I really think there's a really good chance I make the playoffs, in which case, like I told you 6 months ago, I would want you to have your picks. I want my picks. If it's randomized, it's randomized. But I feel in my head, I'm saying, yo, if these picks get randomized and I get picked 105 off of fucking Rojo's picks, I would be tight. I would be annoyed, because I could have traded you, but because I'm offering you the picks. You don't want to.
Rojo is making the bet that you still won't make the playoffs because you're fringe. It's not like you're the third or second seed. Like, you're the first team in right now. I'm the first team out.
Are we looking? But he not looking holistically at the league the way I do. Greg's team, fleet. Your team, shaky. Boom or bust. Your team. My team, right now, I believe my team's starting to hit it. I got pieces. I got depth. I really like my team right now. Mike Evans about to. Yo, I've won 3 in a row, and Mike Evans is about to come back. I just traded for Khalil Shakir and Jacoby Myers. Running back is my only weakness right now. I just picked up Jonnu Smith, who I found out has been getting buckets.
Keely, if I'm understanding Rojo is saying he's still going to take that bet, and if it doesn't work out, then who cares? It's randomized. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay. He is thinking that you're about to fall off. You were peaking at the wrong time.
Okay.
He has, from his point of view, he has nothing to lose. If you make the playoffs, okay, it's randomized. I've lost nothing. But if you don't make the playoffs and you're in the consolation tournament, he's guaranteed a top 4 pick. Okay. That's the bet he is making. Is it a smart bet? We'll see. But to him, he loses nothing.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't really think I lose anything either, because I'm listen.
You definitely don't lose anything.
I think the Horn Ducks are in a great spot. I listen. I would say I'm in 9 leagues right now. I'm in 9 leagues. The Horn Ducks are one of the 3 or 4 teams that I'm like, yo, this team I feel good about. I don't lose nothing. He don't lose nothing. Okay, cool. But if I get 105 because Rojo didn't want to trade me my picks back, I'm gonna talk a little bit of shit. I don't know. I don't know who I'm gonna pick.
That's a bet that pay. I get what he's saying. He loses absolutely nothing. Either
I don't lose anything either. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I agree with him
He
that we both
he
lose
is
nothing.
banking because all it takes is, let's see, well, like how does DeVito look? How does Malik Neighbors look with DeVito at quarterback? Right? We don't know what that looks like.
Okay,
because
but
he
if I
could
got to
be.
sub him out, I'll just sub in Jamison Williams, who now I have to bench now because I have Khalil Shakir and Jacoby Myers.
I would rather face Jamison Williams, who is extremely boom or bust every week, than Malik Neighbors. Right? Like that's the bet Keely is making. Okay. That's what he's saying. He was like, sure, Jamison.
If we both lose nothing, I'm saying if I'm gonna lose nothing, I'd rather lose nothing with my picks if we're both going to make the playoffs. He's saying whatever, it is what it is.
He's saying there's more to gain from not giving your picks back than giving your picks back. Because if you don't make the playoffs, he is guaranteed a top.
What happens if he falls off?
That would be an epic collapse, and he has bigger problems to worry about.
Right? Like
he's 7-4.
Listen, and what if the wheels fall off?
Which they could, but he's banking that his team
he won't, and I don't think
that he won't.
And I'm banking. I don't think I will either. I think some other. Listen, I listen. All right. And my last game of the season is versus Bam. I can't wait for that one. I want to beat his team's ass, punch my ticket in, and then I'm gonna just send Rojo the.
And to the Ronald Isley tax returns, I know they're on the 2-game skid. The first game they lost was I was playing. I think Rojo, who had
your little voodoo wore out from that bullshit game.
He had So he had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on that Thursday night game. Dead man walking to begin with, and then last week I was playing whoever has Saquon, because Saquon had 2 touchdowns went off last week. Like those aren't happening to me every week. I made my trade for some depth on my flex. Bam stole T. Higgins right from under me because I reached out about T. Higgins 2 weeks ago. I knew that team was ass, and he was like, let's see. I was going to come back for T. Higgins, but Bam beat me to it. So shout out to Bam. I am very confident that the Ronald Isley tax returns are on their way.
I like the confidence because I'm going to let y'all know right now the Las Vegas Horned Ducks are feeling real confident, and he's looking at a couple of y'all's teams like food. Straight up. Y'all have given us enough bulletin board material. Akili apparently doesn't see value in his own picks. It's okay, cool, because they are going to listen. When they write back on this league, they are going to write back on the time Akili didn't want to give back his picks and how the Las Vegas Horned Ducks turned into a dynasty off that.
Cool. Do you want to hear something funny?
Talk to me.
So today, when Greg was talking about taking, boy, I sent that man a trade so fast. Of course, he rejected it. I thought it was a fair trade, but he rejected it immediately.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. That conversation almost really listen. That league almost triggered me in a few different ways. One, they thought I'm just making up a white man. Like I'm gonna just go out my day.
So funny. So for a second, Greg had me for a second. I was like, wait a goddamn. Like Greg had me for a second.
Yeah, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself.
He had me. I was at work. Like, wait a fucking minute.
Like I got time out of my day to create a white man out the blue. Go take some damn pictures.
Well, first of all, how many white Dariuses have you met in your life? I've never met a white.
His name is Dylan.
Oh,
his name is Dylan.
Okay, my bad.
That's what the D and then the rest of his username stands for. So then it's funny because I'm like, I follow this guy on IG. I see what he be doing like outside because he live in Connecticut. He live in Connecticut.
That's crazy.
So I be like seeing his, you know what I mean, a hairstylist. I be seeing all his movings. I chat with him here and there about either the Heat or the Chargers. He's a big Chargers fan.
Okay.
So, of course, after, you know what I mean, a big win last week, I'm already thinking about trades I'm trying to make during the trade deadline. This motherfucker talking about some Dylan is Darius' second burn. Like, yo, dog, you just beat this team 2 years ago in the championship game. What are we talking about? He fake now.
Hilarious. Greg had me for a second. I was like,
I sent the screenshot to him so fast. Dylan, I was like, yo, please help. Please.
And we still don't know if that's Dylan. That still could be you.
No.
Hilarious.
No.
Greg had me for a second. And then the
I'm
funniest
gonna
part of the
show.
whole conversation is when Greg is openly talking about tanking, and it's like, no, dog, that's what the consolation tournament is for.
Hold on, we're gonna get there. We're
Silent.
gonna get there.
Okay.
Can you see
I
that?
can't see that. Hold on. Let's see if
So
we
this
can
is me texting Dylan, right? My guy, Dylan,
right.
right?
I
So
made you full screen.
so you see that?
Yep.
So basically, that's me sending him the screenshot of y'all calling him fake, and I'm saying, please speak. And he says, LMAO, I got you. I thought I declined the offer they sent me. He didn't know somebody even sent him an offer. Again, guys, he turned off all notifications from that app because we send too many notifications in there. And what's funny is Say It came out today and was like, you know what? I ain't gonna hold you. I almost thought about doing the same exact shit. And everyone, and I'm like, are you a real person?
Well, that's fine because I've turned off notifications for a lot of stuff, but I still check the sleeper app. I still check the app,
He do.
you know,
To set
every
his
day.
lineup. He get on that app.
I'm with Kyle. As long like he doesn't have to respond in the chat, but if we send him something, at least acknowledge it. I still have a message I sent to him a year ago that he has not read about Nick Chubb, and it still hasn't been read.
I told y'all earlier, if you want to reach him faster, follow him on IG.
I ain't following no motherfucking body on IG to talk about dynasty football. That ain't my.
You don't want it bad enough. You don't want it bad enough, because I'm gonna tell you, for 700 of them things and a championship ring belt, I'm gonna hit a motherfucker up on IG.
When you set your lineup, you can see in the left corner a little thing that says DM. And you see all those notifications.
True, but if I set my lineup, if I only open this app on Thursday and Sunday, which is always game day, what the fuck am I looking at trades for? I'm thinking about the matchup. This is what he always does, though. He shows up and he drafts. He has never missed a draft.
Never missed a draft.
He shows up and drafts.
And he shows up to the owners' meeting, too.
And he shows up to the owners' meeting. So it's evident and clear he's running his organizations. He just ain't fucking with y'all.
Well, you know what? At the next owners meeting, we can have a talk with Dylan.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Can I ask you something? Because I think Akili maybe mentioned it below.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your thoughts on that Khalil Shakir trade, because I'm going to be honest. I sat on it, thought on it for a while, and I said, honestly, this might be a great deal that I am overlooking. So I think Akili said he was referring to Bam about it. He said,
I'm trying to.
He said if anyone, I think he said if anyone should be getting clowned for that trade, it should be Bam.
Yeah, I think Kyle said that.
Oh, Kyle. Did Kyle say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Kyle. Hold on. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, that was Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. So Kyle says, sorry, Bam, but Keaton Mitchell is not relevant. And if anyone should get clowned for the Shakir trade, it's Bam. I am telling you, Kyle, when that trade, here's the thing. He had offered me that trade for a while, and I was just sitting on it like, I don't know if this trade's worth it. And then one day I'm thinking about it.
It's worth it.
It was like after the last Ravens game. And the way Derrick Henry was running, I started thinking about it, and I said, this motherfucker Keaton Mitchell might not ever touch. They might give Derrick Henry might be right back next year doing this exact same thing.
Yes.
We're like 2 years away from Keaton Mitchell really taking off. Yo, dog, I got running backs in the stable right now. I might be able to do something. So then I said, how much do you value Keaton Mitchell? If I hold out, will you add a draft pick in there?
He did it.
I held out long enough. Got that. I really think that's a great deal for me.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm looking at my wide receiver room and I'm saying I got some pieces. D-Hop that I got. Remember D-Hop, Malik Neighbors. Hold on, look at this. We are chatting a lot of fantasy, which I'm not really mad about.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that because this is fun. We're all invested in this.
Listen, I'm looking at my receiving room. DeAndre Hopkins, Malik Neighbors, Mike Evans, Jamison Williams, Jacoby Myers, Troy Franklin, who's coming on along with Bo Nix, Jermaine Burton, Javon Baker, DeMarcus Robinson, Noah Brown, Khalil Shakir. I picked up Jonnu Smith only because Jatavian Sanders is on bye. He basically took over the starting role. But after Jonnu Smith started cooking recently, Now I just got to leave him as my starting one. So now I got some young depth at Jatavian Sanders, and then I got my blocking tight end. That's Cole Kmet. Whenever Cole Kmet
blocks become a point.
Yeah, nah. Listen, he blocking a spot on my roster. That's what he's doing. Cole Kmet is blocking a spot on my roster, but I refuse to drop him.
What? That's how I feel about John Mechie.
Yeah, I just like you're just blocking up a spot, whatever. So I'm now looking at my team right now, and I'm saying, okay, running back will definitely be a position I addressed in the offseason, but also I have Marshawn Lloyd and the Packers. He's dealing with appendicitis, so who knows? If anyone's interested in Roman Williams from the Steelers, let me know. Send an offer. Send an offer.
I feel like there's one more shoe to drop for my team. I think we're right there, just an elite pass catcher away.
You know what's even funnier? I'm looking at that draft from last year where everyone was clowning me for having all them third-round picks. You remember that? Because I had 102, no second-round picks,
and then
basically
like 5,
all
6,
of the
7, 8, 9.
Yeah. I had 301, 304, 5, 6, 7, and then 9. Everyone clowned me, but I look back at some of the that might be the reason why I'm contending now. That draft class. Malik Neighbors. I got Bo Nix in my taxi squad. When we open up Superflex, let me tell you something. Let me ask you something.
Yep.
We're currently 2 years out from the Superflex. How open would you be to starting that thing next season? It would come with an additional bench spot, and it would come with an additional taxi spot as soon as next season.
I'd have to think about it because I have some long-term plans for the Superflex, but those plans would be expedited if it's next year instead of
the year after.
Yeah. Like there are some things that I
think there's some teams like mine where it's like, yo, because this next owners meeting is going to be a big one. We can, in a way, there is a world where the rosters could be without IDPs and with Superflexes as soon as next year. And if that's the case, I'm going to let y'all know right now, the Las Vegas Horn Ducks will be a fucking train. Y'all are lucky I can't put 2 QBs in the lineup right now. Because Josh Allen and Jared Goff, oh, man, you wouldn't see anybody praising white men like this until you hit a white Christian church.
Lord Jesus.
I'm saying that's what they be saying.
It's funny, though. I kind of like the IDPs.
I think that, listen,
I kind of like it. Like having to be strategic. Like there are a lot. I'm telling you, people leave a lot of points on the ground.
The IDPs is something.
Because they have because they're focused on Myles Garrett and edge rushers when you need to be focusing on DBs and linebackers.
Here's the funny part. If the IDPs stay in 2 years, you know what the rosters could look like? You could have 2 QBs, 2 IDPs, 3 flexes, a tight end, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's way too much. That's way too much. Some got to go. Some got to get it.
Or this just becomes an extremely high scoring league.
Yeah.
Because again, once the Superflex comes, everyone gets an additional roster spot and an additional taxi spot.
Yep.
So maybe your IDP strategy doesn't change, where maybe you have one consistent IDP who you have on your roster, that's your guy, and you're swapping out a second, or maybe you have a third, like maybe you have 3 IDPs in your roster and you're swapping them out. Maybe you
I would, if we did that, only have one IDP, and then that other roster spot goes to the Superflex QB.
We'll see. There's 5 options for the IDPs. We'll see.
We'll see them.
There's 5 options, 10 people.
It's interesting, but
all it's going to take is 3 votes.
Yeah, and
I believe people might line up. I think there might have to be some lobbying to go around.
Well, we all know who the agent of chaos is in this group.
No,
it's Bam. He's going to do whatever is most chaotic. Like whatever.
I think Bam's going to stick with IDPs. I'm telling y'all, I think IDPs will stay, and I think in 2 years we will have all these roster spots plus the IDPs, which I'm with. Fuck it. Well, we're going to see our first 300-point game.
All I'll say is anyone
And I'm
legit
not
in our
opposed to
league.
it.
I
I'm not
am.
opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to it. But I'm talking about right now. I'm big game hunting for an elite pass catcher.
Mm.
I would tell you what I
Yeah.
offered Greg for
What's funny
Amon-Ra
is
St.
how
Brown.
you think someone's just going to give up an elite pass catcher in week 12 if they're not, because there's two ways to look at it. It's like, I'm not going to give up one of my best players even if I'm rebuilding, or why would I give up my best player while I'm trying to fight for a championship?
Well,
I think at this point you're trading like fill-in pieces. You're trading draft picks. Elite pass catcher might be hard for you, my good brother.
well, I have players. Like, I'm not opposed to trading players either. But I guess even if we don't win this year, like, I just feel like I am one elite pass catcher away. Just one.
Here's what I will say: your cousin Jason,
He gonna give me Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna die. He gonna give me
here's
Justin
what I will
Jefferson.
say: your family is doing not too bad in this league between you and your two cousins. I was looking at his team like, God damn, he got some.
I tried to make him an offer for Drake London. I was like, is Drake London on the trading block? Yeah, what you willing to give up? Made a very fair offer. No, I'm gonna hold on to him. Why are you wasting my time? Wait till I see him at Christmas.
Oh, he got Rico Dowdle. Brian Robinson. Listen, I got some running back. I need some running back help, but I don't think I'm in I'm not trading with any. I'm at a point now where I'm not trading with anybody who's looking like they might be in playoff contention.
That's fair.
Close to it.
Question for the group: how did you guys feel about that Cortland Sutton trade? I gave up a second-round pick for Cortland Sutton. I thought it was a good deal.
I mean, it was a good deal. If I knew Cortland Sutton was available for a second, I probably would have made an offer somewhere. Jacoby Myers went for 2/3.
That's not a bad deal either. Like you said, if no one clowns you for a trade,
usually whoever got the player, the bigger name,
you did good. That's a good rule of thumb. Because let me tell you, I still can't believe Greg said no, but I understand why.
Yeah, listen, that Khalil Shakir, listen, Bam funny.
But you know what? If he wins this thing this year, he is going to be unbearable because we have made fun of him. We have dragged. Even now, he's unbearable because he has the right to talk his shit. He's won, 9 in a row?
He's got a good squad.
Yeah, he's won 8 in a row with a squad that looks like shit. Like, he is riding the wave. And if that wave takes him to the championship, we're gonna have to kick him out because I ain't listening to that shit.
I mean, he's definitely made a lot of moves, but here he goes. He sits there, and he's
like, even when you look at this roster right now, you were like, ain't no fucking way. Not only is he in first place, he has a pretty big lead over all of us.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he hit on MVS.
And listen, we'll see. I think Bam's team is definitely making some good noise and some good moves. I think we gonna see when we get into like the clutch time of the season, who's making the right decisions when. I will let everyone know that between the 2nd seed and the 7th, 8th seed, I mean, it's
not a lot separating.
2 games.
It's a game or two. Yeah. This has been. It's like, I feel like this has been the most competitive. Because I feel like this time last year, like, it was kind of like maybe there was some people fighting for that last. Like, I know this time last year, like, I was like, all right, let's focus on trying to get Marvin Harrison Jr. And I feel like the only people who are like that this year are MVC and Friedman. Like, those are the only two who are like legit out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was trying to fight for a spot in it last year, but yeah, you're right.
And the top seed Bam, like, would it shock anybody in this league? And this isn't a knock to Bam that he lost in the first round, because it wouldn't shock me at all.
Who, Bam's team?
Yeah.
Well, if he gets the bye, then.
Well, I mean, his first playoff matchup, like, it wouldn't shock me if he lost his first playoff matchup and not only lost, but like gets throttled.
Yeah. Because what's funny is I'm looking back at the playoff history from last
But shout out
year.
to him. He's done it. He has defied that. We've made fun of
So
him.
last year, Greg won it at 8-6. Greg went on a tear though.
Yeah. And
A
then the
tear.
first, I won it, and I was the last team in the playoffs. Like, I think I got in the last week.
Yeah. And
Yeah. What was
then
my record? Was it like, it was bad. Did I get in with a losing record the first year?
The first year you got in at 7-7. You were the 6th seed. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
the
I was
sixth.
the last. I knew I was the last team in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just kind of got hot, really, because I'm looking at that playoff run. Oh man, I know. Say it, not say it is sick to his stomach.
And Achilles too, because Achilles on paper has the best roster in this league by a mile. Like Achilles should be 10-1.
Should be. Yeah, last season I was 2 spots out of the playoffs. I was 8th. But remember, in the consolation bracket, Bam ended up beating me, which then put me in a position that I was either going to have 101 or 102, and he ended up losing to you.
He did.
And so you ended up getting.
And now I have an elite pass catcher that I need to put with another elite pass catcher.
I think you're better off calling Jesus. And
I am comfortable with this team. Like, don't get it twisted. But if I can add an elite pass catcher, I feel a lot better.
Who was Fugly?
That's Jason.
Oh, whose team did he take over last year? Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
never mind.
But
we'll see. I think. Listen, I'm locked in at the 6th seed right now. If the playoffs ended today, I'd be in a matchup with Kyle in the same bracket as, you guessed it, Mr. Achilles himself.
that'd be fun.
Listen, your cousin, I think, has an opportunity depending on what side of the bracket. Jason. He's the 4th seed. If the playoffs ended today, he would take on Greg, and then if he won that matchup, he would be in the same side as, you guessed it, Bam.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That's a matchup I want to see.
I'd love to see that, but don't worry.
Listen. In the case of that happening, would y'all all be together during the Christmas time frame when this happens?
Usually we are, but this year I will not be with the family during Christmas. Not this year. And I don't know if Bam is traveling from where he is to here, because he was just here in the summer. So I don't know.
Do you ever look at the playoff projections in the brackets in Sleeper?
Sometimes I really try to pay attention to that. I'll start paying attention as we get closer. Like right now, I need to get back in the playoffs, and it starts by beating the worst team in the league this week.
What's funny is
this
gonna be the week. This gonna be the week.
This gonna be the week he went. I'm like, fuck it.
You know what's funny? What's funny is I kept saying in the chat, I was like, he's a Chargers fan, and I was hoping somebody would say, "Oh, that would make sense why his roster is the way it is." Because remember, he got 101 and with Justin Herbert at the start of draft.
He did,
and everyone was like, "Whoa, that came out of nowhere."
Because that's how Josh Allen fell to me.
Yeah, that's why. Because he's a big Chargers fan, went 101. So I say that because if you pay attention to the schedules, then you know that next week, guess who the Chargers got? As we get into a little bit of some actual football coverage, guess who we got Monday night? The Harbaugh Ravens. Chargers. Ladies and gentlemen, guess which defense is one of the absolute god-awful worst against the pass?
The Ravens.
I'm telling you. So that's why I asked the question of, do you look at playoff projected points in the bracket? Because I got to looking at the toilet bowl as it stands right now. His team starts to get hot. Like, there's some teams that you're like, yo, I'm so glad you down in that bracket getting that shit up.
Because it wouldn't be me. Because like, if you get 101 this year, like, who do you draft? Like, who do you draft at 101?
Ashton Genty, if you feel good. Tet McMillan, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about Ashton Genty. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
but We're not gonna
we
be
gonna
there.
see.
I
We
do
gonna
feel like
see.
I have too many Eagles on my roster. Like I'm really trying to unload Dallas Goddard.
So now the Eagles fan is trying to pass along some of your Eagles fandom onto other people.
I am not. I'm just saying right now my roster is too dependent on the Eagles. I think that is another flaw.
Quick fun fact. Do you know that your cousin Jason's team, the team that he inherited, that franchise has the second most wins in our league's 3-year or 2.5-year history so far. It is 23-15. Best, the owner with the most wins so far in the Dynasty League is Say It. 24-14 is his overall record. He's won 63% of his games. Believe it or not, love to hate him, but Rojo has the third highest winning percentage in this league so far, with 22 wins, 16 losses. And no, he does not have the most points all time. By the way, your cousin Jason, his franchise has the most points all time scored in this league.
That's crazy. He got nothing to show for it. Kyle said, "What do we think about the CD Lamb trade that he made?" I'm trying to go find the trade right now.
When was this trade? Recent?
Yeah, it was a CD Lamb AJ Brown trade.
Oh, I think we discussed that was a good deal, right?
I don't remember, but I liked it. Yeah, here it is. So Kyle got AJ Brown in Rojo's 2026 first, and Rojo got C Lamb in Kyle's 2023 third. Okay. I think they both fit their rosters in a way that they didn't have before. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a dog for a dog.
A dog for a dog.
You know what's even funnier? Me and Greg are tied. Well, I guess he would have the edge because he scored more points, but me and Greg have the same exact record. Actually, in this league overall,
really
20-18. We both won 52% of our games. Greg has scored probably about 160 more points overall, so he has the lead there. But right behind us, who's won legitimately 50% of all of his games. 19-19. Yes, sir. You guessed it.
Me.
Mr. Danny Ocean.
Mr. 500. But guess what?
He got a ring.
He got a ring.
Bam is 8th. He's only won 44% of his games, 17-21. Kyle, 7th. He's only won 47% of his games, 18-20. And then, yeah, you guessed it. Dylan Friedman, bottom
32% of his games.
Only won 34% of his games.
Okay, I was close.
25. But he does have a championship appearance. Now, what's funny is you can also see the amount of transactions people have made and the number of messages they have sent.
Oh, wow. I know Bam's number 1 in transactions.
Bam
is probably by a mile.
No, actually, I am number 1 in transactions with 229. Bam is right behind me at 225. So we're right there. As you can imagine, being the commissioner, I am lapping the field in messages. 1,611.
Jesus.
Next closest. Darius McAdoo's franchise. So him and the previous owner at 572. Bam's at 535. Actually, no, Greg is after Darius at 541. Then Bam at 535. And then it kind of goes down from there. As you can imagine,
how many
Dylan has 0.
I was about to say Dylan is definitely under 5.
0.
Is that a bot?
Yeah.
Hazel, take your ass somewhere else.
Oh, Hazel. All right, let's talk a little bit of regular football while we got a little time.
All right.
Let's get back to Thursday night football. I feel like you want to talk your stuff. That Thursday night game, it was really battle for NFC East supremacy between the Eagles and the Commanders. I want to get your thoughts on the game. The NFC East basically still runs through Philly, so I want to get your thoughts on the Eagles and how they kind of dominated versus versus the Commanders. Hazel, I don't know who Ho A Ao is, but if you speak in that freaky stuff, I'm gonna need you to bounce. Listen, this is a program for families and sports and fantasy football fans. So if you're
Go
not with
so
that,
ass on Twitter.
why? Listen, I don't think this is someone who's selling ass. I think this is someone with a. How do we feel about the Commanders and the Eagles game from last week?
I'm not gonna. I got into. I don't want to say an argument, but I kind of got riled up with some of my friends this weekend. I'll say this: all I heard last Thursday, all I heard last week was the Commanders' second most efficient offense in the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury. All I heard was Terry McLaurin, third in the NFL in yards. Oh, what are you gonna do with the misdirection? And what happens? What happens to all these teams when they go against the Eagles? You know what happens? They go to Guantanamo Bay. That's what Quinyon Mitchell is. He gonna take your favorite receiver. He gonna put him in jail.
Yeah, because all you're gonna do is he's just gonna foul him the entire game.
Nope.
He gonna
Quinyon
grab,
has zero penalties this year. Quinyon gonna take he did it to Jamar Chase. Everyone was like, oh, well, it was Cooper Rush. That's why CD Lamb didn't go off. CD had 90 yards Monday night. You know the difference? Quinyon Mitchell went out there. He took Terry McLaurin, 1 catch, 10 yards. Y'all gonna learn that the best team in the NFC lives at Lincoln Financial Field.
That's what they say.
I understand.
I don't know.
Detroit, like, don't get me wrong. Detroit is number 1, but the gap isn't as big as people think it is.
Are they number 1?
Yeah, I think Detroit's the best team in the NFC, but I don't think the gap is as massive between Detroit and Philadelphia as some people would have y'all believe.
Well, let's speak on that a little bit. I know that's in our notes somewhere down there. So when a lot of people they're talking about, the Eagles, they're talking about the Lions. Listen, does the eye test tell you really that the Lions are better than the Eagles, or are we victim to the Lions maybe being victim of some teams, kind of pissing on themselves, so on and so forth? You tell me.
I'll say the Lions are better because their passing game is more sophisticated. I'll say if the Eagles can get a passing game
you don't mean the deep fucking AJ Brown down there somewhere?
Yeah, effective? It is, but at some point you got to give Jalen easy throws, like the things that excite me.
Or you're not too believing in all we gotta do is let Saquon run us down to the 1 so we can do the biggest bullshit play maybe in fucking history. Yo, dog. Again, I say playing against Jalen Hurts in fantasy is some of the biggest loads of bullshit you could possibly ever imagine.
Hey, man.
Saquon just be freaking dudes down to the fucking 1 and just get his shit. Yo, break him.
Can we take a moment to put a pin in that? And can we talk about my genius in the theory that my running back room does not have to be that strong, because I know Jalen gonna give me at least 1 tush push a week. I don't need a big, strong running back room because Jalen counts for half of that.
They're gonna say he might have a 2020 game. Like, yo, dog, get out of here with that 2020 season. Yo, 2020. Yo, show me the percentages of his rushing touchdowns that are not tush push related.
I don't care. 6 is 6, whether he runs it in from 5 or from 1.
I'm not talking to you. You wouldn't care. I'm talking to like people who say, "Oh, this is incredible 2020 season." It's like, yo, dog.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Like, come on now. What are we talking about here? What
I'm talking about is at some point, and it's happening now, teams are going to load the box to stop the run. And it would be nice if Jalen had easy throws. Everything doesn't have to be go balls to AJ and Devontae. Like, they can run slants, they can run posts, you can run screens, not wide receiver screens. But I would just like to see an offense that gives Jalen easy throws, because right now it just seems like everything is forced. Like, give him some easy stuff.
Nick Sirianni has like one of the most easiest offensive scheme. Nick Sirianni / Kellen Moore have some of the one of the easiest offensive schemes ever. They just have like these crazy athletes that are just better than a lot of people's players. but I don't watch the Eagles and say they do a lot of complicated stuff.
Yeah, it's not like
Or
they
so,
run
like,
mesh a
can-
lot. The
It's like
problem,
it's like, can you block it? Can you stop it or not? Because if you can, it won't be hard to stop this team. They don't
yeah,
do a lot of complicated stuff. So if you can stop it, you can stop it.
well, the
That's
problem
why
is,
I think when y'all lose, y'all really lose. Like y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? Like when a team shuts y'all down, like y'all's games look ugly. But when y'all
Yeah.
win, it is because the other team just like can't stop it. Y'all will do the same thing over and over again. The other team just won't stop it.
and I say
You know
that's
what
kind
I'm
of like a
saying?
weakness of Jalen. Like if he sees AJ 101, he doesn't care what the play is. We check into
Go
something
ball.
to give it. Yeah, wait, I don't care what it is. And I think some of that's on him because there are times if you watch the Eagles offense, like, oh yeah, that was very easy. That was simple. So I don't know. I
I'm
think
telling you.
if they can even, it doesn't have to be as sophisticated as LA. It doesn't have to be as sophisticated as Cincinnati or Detroit, but it just has to be something comparable. Then I think they'd beat the line because I think their defense is better. I think it'd be easier to stop Jared Goff than it would be to stop Jalen Hurts. It would be easier for the Eagles defense to stop Jared Goff than it would be for the Detroit defense to stop Jalen Hurts and Eagles.
I don't know. Listen.
Hey,
Really,
DVOA wise, Eagles have the best defense in the league.
I don't even know. Listen, the only DVOA I know is Dead or Alive, the video game. Don't talk to me about that stuff. I'm talking about the eye test and what I see. I seen it. I seen it. That if you can stop, I'm not saying that the Eagles are a bad team. I'm saying
Yeah.
I don't think they're concept wise. Maybe they're not doing the most complex stuff. So I really think if you have the athletes to stop what they're doing,
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen, the eye test, their jobs become a lot harder because I don't,
100%.
you know what I mean? So it makes me wonder, yo, when y'all be game planning week to week, do y'all just say, "Are we gonna do our shit? They can't stop it," or
That's
y'all
what it
say
feels like.
they do X Y Z really well? Maybe this week we try to attack this.
We'll see this week. We'll see that they play the Rams Sunday night and then they play Baltimore. Those past defenses, those secondaries are terrible. We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? But does that
Yeah.
make sense? Because like I'm not trying to clown Eagles because they did beat the
Yeah.
Packers, albeit again, even when I was watching that game, I kept saying nothing they doing is really they not out scheming us. They are just making way less mistakes than we are, and they're executing better.
Like I remember that Bengals game because their pass defense was bad. Jalen had an efficient game. I think he was like 16 for 20 or something like that. Like that's what I want to see. Like if you're going against the pass defense,
I would love to watch a little bit more of the all 22 of the Eagles just to see it.
You should watch Cam Jurgens. He be throwing people on the ground. He be choke slamming people. Best O-line in football.
Speaking of other games around the NFL, Anthony Richardson came back from the benching, won a game. Aaron Rodgers, Jets. This ship has fallen apart. They fired their GM earlier today. It sounded like Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be back next season.
No, hell no. Did you read the report about how Joe Douglas low key ain't been in charge for a month? Like since they fired Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas really ain't been in charge.
Really?
Yeah, I was reading. I think the Athletic posted, like, yeah, he really ain't been in charge since they fired Saleh.
What? Tell me more.
It was just saying like the higher ups, like the people above him, have been kind of like making these moves.
What, the owners?
Yeah, it sounds like Woody Johnson is in here somewhere. Which, if you're Joe Douglas, fine, that's cool. I hope Joe Douglas gets another shot with a real organization because I think you don't think so?
No,
he was Howie Roseman's successor.
Yo, dog. He paid a 40-year-old QB a couple years after drafting one at 2 overall. A couple years after, I believe, drafting Sam Darnold.
I think so. But how much is that Woody Johnson? Because I feel like the Aaron Rodgers thing had Woody Johnson written all over it.
Yo, dog, he's the fucking general manager.
He's the fucking owner. He writing your check.
Man, listen, are you going to let me run the team so we can win, or do you want to just make all the decisions?
What does Jerry Jones say?
Same
energy.
I cut the checks. I make the decisions. Well,
that's right.
We about to talk about it, but Jerry's sitting around looking around, wondering why can't we play better, son? Why don't you draft better? Why don't you bring in free agents?
Or you should have paid your quarterback a year ago, and you should have paid CD before everyone else got paid.
Yeah, that's true. Because now you got to pay. Now you got to pay him what everyone else is making, or it's like, what are we doing here?
Plus $1.
Um, listen, I just the Jets are in such a bad spot. It's embarrassing. Here's what I will say to all you people who said, "What are the Packers going to do? Why would you make this decision?" You always want to let them go too early before it's too late. Aaron Rodgers, I saw it versus, I think I came in here and said it versus in that Minnesota game. You could just see it. He knew this team stinks. What the fuck am I wasting my time here for?
Well, at least you can go smoke some more crack.
Oh, yeah. You know it. Steelers outlast the Ravens in Baltimore to take control of the NFC North. Let me ask you something. Are you thinking the Steelers are the team to beat in the AFC North?
That's what it looks like. But my question to that is, how long can you keep winning like this? Is this sustainable?
I mean, if your defense, listen, they have a defense that keeps them in every game. This is a Baltimore offense that's been going up and down the field, and everyone they play the Steelers, and suddenly they look human. Listen, I look at it and I say, if your defense can keep you in every game, then you play to your defense. You play to your strengths: defense, special teams, field position, running the ball.
Yep.
Smart play action.
Welch hits a moon ball every once in a while.
George Pickens, and we are here. Listen, I think the Steelers are a really good football team. I think I think Baltimore just has some holes that they got to fix. I like Lamar Jackson. I like what he's able to do. I like this offense and this offensive scheme with Todd Monken and what they're able to do. Baltimore's got to figure it out on the defensive end, man. They got to figure it out on the defensive end.
And the scary thing about the Steelers is this travels. So if they don't get the 1 seed, who cares? We got to go to Buffalo. Who cares? We got to go to Kansas City. Who cares? Like, it
defense
travels. This style of play travels. So
you know what style of play does not travel? The style of play that's being played in Cincinnati. Because that game on Sunday, I was sitting there like, yo, dog, why the fuck did y'all wait until the second half to start putting up points? Like, what are we doing?
If you're a Bengals fan, this has to be the most frustrating season ever. Because they should be
7-3.
They should be 7 and like the only games you really lost were against the Eagles. Was it the one against the Chiefs?
I think Chiefs was either a penalty or something that led to a penalty that led to a penalty after a completed pass, which then set up a game-winning field goal.
That's what it was. Let me ask you a question. This might be off topic, so if it is, we don't have to.
That's all good.
One of my best friends is a Chiefs fan, and I said to him the other day, it's just amazing, especially this year. It didn't happen Sunday, but every high leverage situation, there just seems to be a flag that just benefits the Chiefs. And he's like, well, people need to stop fouling. And I was like,
yeah.
I don't think
because what happens is they then show the foul, and everyone's like, well, I mean,
just interesting.
And that is.
Just noticing.
That is. Here's what I will say about the Chiefs and what's always, oh, wow, that should be an offensive foul. Wow, that should be an offensive foul. That should be an offensive foul.
Oh, yeah. Jalen?
You talking about basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be an offensive foul, right?
Yeah. Did you see Jason Tatum throw old boy to the ground at the end of the third and hit a 3? That should have been an offensive foul.
They just told him to play.
They said, we got to get Cleveland the fuck out of here. Oh, you talking about the Mobley?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That should have been. He ran him over.
What was I just talking about?
We were talking about Chiefs and fouls.
Oh, here's what I'll say. Yeah, but that'd be the thing about the Chiefs. Everyone says, oh, it's the refs this, refs that. And then when they show the actual highlight of the play, it be a foul. We got to learn how to play with composure. The Chiefs, what people don't hate to realize, they have become the new Patriots. And if you remember watching those Patriots games, you just remember seeing teams just kind of lose composure in high stakes situations versus this team. And that's what I think. Buffalo, they didn't. I think Josh Allen showed a lot of poise, especially on that fourth down. And I think Tony Romo was right. The only way to beat the Chiefs is you got to take it to them. Because if you give them an out, they're going to make you pay. They're just too good.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive.
And I could see, like, when they went up 10 or 9 and the Chiefs just walked down the field and scored, I was like, Oh, yeah, that's why they win Super Bowls. Yo, I can name you. There's 32 teams in the NFL.
Yes.
Outside the Chiefs, I think there's maybe one or two teams with like the ilk in the locker room I'm instant walk you down touchdown. You thought you did something, huh? Right back at you. Now what? Yo, if I was a Buffalo fan right after that touchdown, that's when I was like, oh no, this ship's about to collapse. Like
Not again.
what? Not again.
Not
And
again.
what they do this time, they went for it on fourth down. We not giving you this fucking ball back like this. We not giving you the ball back up too. No way.
No way.
No way.
Can't
So
do.
shout out to the Chiefs and the Bills. These two will see each other again. Maybe, because here's the funny thing about Buffalo. They might do some funny shit like lose to someone the game before Kansas City.
Yes, they definitely would lose to the Broncos.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the Broncos just go in there and shut shit completely down.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like they went on a field goal. It'd be like, oh, they beat the shit out of them.
No, like 24-10. Like won't close. Y'all couldn't do nothing
them.
the entire game. They came into Buffalo, took over y'all's trap. They flew. Then the very next game, Denver goes to Kansas City, lays an egg.
Throttled. 100%. And Kansas City's back in the NFC Championship game.
Back in the NFC Championship game. Speaking of the same old, Kyle wasn't here for it. But boy, let me tell you something. Sometimes you just got voodoo over a team. They can't do nothing with you. The mind games can always be played. In Chicago, Illinois. The Bears, if you had watched this game, they had control time possession for majority of this game. The only thing that kept the Packers in it was every time they touched the ball, they just immediately went down and scored fast. That was probably what hurt them and helped them. The Bears are getting the ball, and they were possessing time of clock, running the ball, moving Caleb around the pocket, left and right. Looked like a decent team. The Packers scored late, and I'm like, oh, all right, defense. This is all we got to do. And then here they go. The Bears start walking us down, get deep into field goal range, and I'm saying, all right, well, I mean, I was literally saying, I mean, beating someone 10 times in a row is already hard. So if this is it, it's okay. Like, we got plenty of season left. Like, you beat the Bears 10 times. That's hard.
It is.
And then they fucking blocked the kick. When I tell you my mood changed, it was a split second. Because I'm watching it and I'm like, they're not going to block it. Blocked. Fuck the Bears. You bums lost to us 11 straight times. 11 straight times. Fuck the Bears. Yo, what a fucking clown show joke organization. You guys will forever be haunted by that 1985 championship. Listen. Eventually, Chicago fans, your teams will catch up to what's going on in Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. But for now, continue to sit at the children's table and paint the nails of your quarterback. Woo, that felt great. That felt great. Geno Smith and the Seahawks. That's all I'm going to say about the 49ers blowing this game versus the Seahawks. You got to win championships when you can, man. Because they be there one year and they don't be there the next. The 49ers are farther away from the Super Bowl window than they are farther away now from the Super Bowl window than when the Chiefs scored the touchdown months ago this same year. Can you believe it? From the Chiefs winning in overtime to November 19th, the San Francisco 49ers have went more backwards in terms of getting that trophy than they have forward to getting back to that championship game. It's crazy.
It just shows how impressive the Chiefs are.
I mean, they're good, man.
And I'll say this. I keep hearing people saying, like, you know, it's like, oh, it's Detroit and it's Philadelphia, but man, watch out for the 49ers because they could get it together. Let me be very clear. That shit is over.
It's not looking too well.
That ship has sailed. George
Because you
Kittle is
are
hurt.
who you are, and this team continuously keeps blowing fourth quarter leads. I'm sitting there watching. I'm watching the game on Red Zone, and I'm like, all right. Seahawks been struggling to move the ball.
Yep.
Joey Bosa gets hurt. Or Nick Bosa.
Nick
Bosa.
Yeah,
Nick Bosa gets hurt, right? Coincidentally enough, how both of the same brothers play in California. That's not crazy to anybody else. Anyway. So Nick Bosa gets hurt, and then all of a sudden, the Seahawks have way more time to pass the ball, coincidentally enough, because they had already lost a lot of defensive linemen from the Super Bowl run, and then Nick Bosa's hurt. So now you're struggling to rush the passer. And now what happens? On the side that Nick Bosa probably would have been lined up on, which was Geno's left.
Yep.
He escapes, runs, touchdown, scores, wins the game. At some point, San Francisco, you got to win the championship games while you're there. I've already seen some people say they got to fire Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think Kyle Shanahan should have got fired a long time ago, but I don't think you fired Kyle. Kyle Shanahan is the only person who can get away with drafting Trey Lance, giving all that stuff up. Yeah, you watching this game? Giving all that up for Trey Lance and trading him to Dallas for nothing because he fell into Brock Purdy, and now you got to pay Brock Purdy. You can't run away from it anymore, and that's a wrap.
And what's funny is the way they utilize Brock Purdy in this passing game. It's
a wrap.
It wouldn't surprise me if in 2 years they end up trying to trade or get off of Christian McCaffrey's deal.
Here's what I'll say. Do you make the bold move and don't pay Brock Purdy at all?
And would assume that you can go draft another one?
Not that. But the question is, what would you do, right? Because you're not going to be in a position to draft a quarterback, and any free agent quarterback might not be worth. But we've seen Kyle take mediocre QBs before and turn them into something special. I don't know. I think that you're going to pay Brock Purdy, but I feel like it's not going to be the slam dunk that people think it's going to be.
Yeah, because they could go to him and say, "Hey, brother, listen, you have to use a 7th-round pick. Know what some of these other guys making, but brother, that's Joe Burrow. That's Patty Mahomes. That is Lamar Jackson.
And you know what he's going to say? He is going to say,
I went to the Super Bowl.
I've been to the Super Bowl, and I've been to 2 NFC Championship games. I've been to a Super Bowl, and we were one snap away from winning it.
Well, the one snap, yeah.
I mean, it's not like they got blown out, right? It's like we could have legitimately won that game.
Yeah, they could have. Probably should have. That was probably their best chance.
Let's see. What free agent QBs exist? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. We're talking NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this game on TNT, man, this is a really good game. The Celtics are up by 10, 3:06 left, 110 to 104. Looks like Donovan Mitchell's at the line right now. He's got 24 off of 24 points, 7 rebounds off of 10 of 25 from the field, 2 from 9 from 3. He's been hooping right now.
Let me ask you a question since we're talking NBA right now. Do you take this Cleveland team seriously?
I think when you win 14, 15 in a row to start an NBA season, you have to be taken seriously just based off the history of what's happened to guys who have started 13, 14, 15, I think the last team to do it was the 2016 Warriors. They didn't win it all, obviously, but they set the record for wins in the season, made it all the way to the finals. So,
because I don't believe in this Cleveland team at all.
Listen, we'll see. I think they're getting a really good test in the Celtics, but I know they also beat the Celtics this season too.
Yeah, so the only quality wins they have are against these Celtics and Golden State. Like everything else has been like Orlando without Banchero, Brooklyn, the Sixers, Milwaukee. But when you build that kind of a cushion, like they're not even going to flirt with the play-in. Like they're in the playoffs, which they were anyway. They'll probably be the 2 seed because I think Boston's still the best team in basketball.
Oh my gosh, these guys, they're just chucking up shots now. No, I'm with you. I listen. I think I'm bought in to the Cavs. I want to know how bought into you are the Lakers because they don't look bad right now. The Lakers look. Listen, if you would have told me that the addition of JJ Redick would have taken the usage down off LeBron and raised it for AD in a way that now you can legitimately say that AD is the focal point of this offense, I wouldn't have believed you. Talking about a team that's third in the West right now, 9-4, 5 games over 500. I don't know when we could say that last year.
That's true. For me, the Lakers, I'm just concerned about their health. What does AD look like in February? Because it's a great team. It's a really good team. Like, don't get me wrong, but what does this team look like in February?
But they're out there. Listen, he's out there playing.
Yeah. That's not. But talk to me in February.
How about the Rockets 10-5, Warriors 10-3, Thunder? I think we expected teams like the Suns. They're 9-6, Nuggets are 7-5. Clippers, Kings, T-Wolves, Grizzlies in that play-in tournament area. Do you want to talk about your Mavericks over there at 7-7, Danny?
Yeah, so the Mavs went on a 4-game losing streak. Every game they lost by a possession. They haven't been blown out. Like the law of averages, like it'll even out. I'm not too concerned. They beat Oklahoma City the other night without Luka in Oklahoma City. Very impressed. Like that kind of eased the okay, it's fine. Again, like they lost each that 4-game winning streak. They lost by like a point, 2 points, 3 points. Like, and some were some questionable calls that sent the other team to the free throw line. I'm not worried about that.
So you think the refs were trying to help somebody's parlays?
No, I just think those calls would not have been called if a Mickey Mouse crew wasn't out there.
Did you also hear that the Lakers are honoring Pat Riley with a statue? I wanted to get your thoughts there because everyone's clowning the Lakers for the play-in tournament banner. Where do we put the Pat Riley statue?
Oh, no, Pat Riley gets a statue. That's not absurd. Because Phil Jackson has one too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Pat Riley gets one. He started all this.
You want to end on a little college football before we get up out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So right before we got on, actually, the second college football rankings came out today for the college football playoff. We're just sticking to the top 12 because we're really getting in that season. We're really getting into the season because I forgot that now that it's a 12-team playoff, they have to start it earlier. So now we are really getting into like these next couple of weeks are really, these next 2 weeks are really, really big now. Yeah. So we'll probably be doing a lot more college football chitter chatter over the next couple of weeks. But they came out with this ranking. So they still have Oregon at number 1.
Yep.
Followed by Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, the top 5. Indiana travels to Columbus to play Ohio State this weekend. That'll be a really big game. Then we have Notre Dame, Bama, Miami, Ole Miss rounding out those middle of the pack teams. So I think these would be, these are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9. UGA is now jumping Tennessee and SMU. They're at 10.
Yep.
Tennessee is now at 11, and Boise is still at number 12, right?
Yep.
So we got that in terms of how they're ranking 1 through 12. So what this means is that SMU is the first team out because they're 13. Yep. But how this falls in the bracket, remember, it is the 4 highest seeded conference champions that get the buys, which would mean that would go right now if the rankings hold the way they do, it would be Oregon, who they're projecting to win the Big Ten, Texas, who they're projecting to win the SEC, Miami, who they're projecting to win the ACC, and then Boise would be the next highest rated conference champion because they're saying that Boise will win the Mountain West. So that would have first round matchups of BYU going to Columbus to play Ohio State, Alabama traveling to Notre Dame Stadium. This is one I hope stays. Georgia traveling to Happy Valley to play Penn State, and an underrated one, which might give us a thrill or a blowout. Ole Miss traveling to Bloomington to play Indiana. If everything held, that would be the first round matchups. We have the buys. Give me your thoughts on where we stand right now in terms of the bracket.
I think if the bracket stays where it's at, if you're Ohio State and Texas, you are thrilled. Like Ohio State to get to the semis before you see Oregon again. All you got to do is beat BYU and Boise. Not to say that those are some some slouches, but you'd rather have that than compared to Oregon, who's going to have to play the winner of Bama Notre Dame and then play potentially Ohio State. If you're Texas, you get Indiana or Ole Miss. I think Texas is better. And then in the semifinals, you get your true test between either Miami, Georgia, or Penn State. If you're Texas, you've already beaten Georgia. I don't think for me, I think the biggest winner would be Ohio State. Like Ohio
Yeah,
State couldn't ask for anything better than that.
I look at it and I say, man, if you're Boise State, one, you're thrilled. I'm with you. You're thrilled if you're Boise State, because you get the first round bye.
Yeah.
Then you get the benefit of either BYU or Ohio State having to travel across the country. Oh,
yeah. Someone got hurt.
You didn't have the benefit of because they don't get those games. Actually, aren't at home. Sorry, quarterfinal games are bowl games. They're at bowls. Only the first round is at
home.
Campuses. Okay. So, but you get a bowl game closer to you, which would probably be the Rose Bowl. Boise's in Idaho. Idaho's right next to Oregon. So they'd probably get the Rose Bowl. No. Oregon would get the Rose Bowl. Boise would get the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl.
So Orange is Miami, Cotton is Texas, Sugar is Florida too, right? Or Sugar, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. No, Peach is Louisiana. No,
Peach is Georgia.
Hard Rock Stadium in Florida. Where's who gets?
No,
Sugar goes to Louisiana.
Orange Bowl is Orange Bowl. That's Miami. So I always think ACC. Sugar Bowl is Big 10 or Big 12 SEC. So that's usually
New Orleans.
Yes, New Orleans. Cotton Bowl is always in Dallas, Jerry's World. Rose Bowl,
California.
Yeah, Rose Bowl is in California. Which one?
That's where USC plays.
No, I'm saying what are the other ones left?
It's Rose, Sugar, Orange, Cotton, and there's one more.
Peach is in Atlanta.
Peach is in Atlanta. That's Mercedes-Benz. That's it.
And then the Fiesta Bowl is in Arizona.
Okay, so they probably get Fiesta. Boise will probably get the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. Because that's their thing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you something. Now, if you're Ohio State or BYU, do you want to play Boise in the Fiesta Bowl of all bowls?
Yes.
True.
If you're Ohio State, like your real test is Oregon in the semis. And you've already played Oregon and you played them tough already. If I'm Ohio State, let's start right now.
But I'm looking at, if I'm Georgia, I'm saying, yo, dog, the grass is so much greener on our side of the bracket. All we got to do is beat a Penn State team that if you watch James Franklin coach against teams on his level, you like Kirby Smart's chances there. Then you play Miami. All you got to do is shut down Cam Ward. Don't let some of the fluke plays happen. Yep. That game wouldn't be close. 34-17. Then all you got to do is beat the winner of Texas, Indiana, or Ole Miss. You've already beaten Texas. You want that rematch versus Ole Miss. So Ole Miss may be the team that you hope doesn't come out. And boy, if it's Indiana,
that's a wrap.
If it's Indiana,
that's what I'm saying. Or I think Texas. Hey man, whatever. We got to beat Indiana and then Miami.
I actually think it's quite hilarious that they don't reseed some of these.
Well, we'll see how it turns out.
Don't the NCAA, they reseed it as it goes?
I think so. Yeah. This isn't.
No, because it's the regions. Actually, no, they do reseed as it goes.
They reseed it.
Yeah.
I will say.
Because now if you're looking, if you're Oregon, you're like, yo, dog, okay, let's just say Ohio State wins, right? No, I think if you're Oregon, you're looking at the committee and you're saying, how the fuck do y'all look at all the teams and you put Alabama and Notre Dame at 8 and 9 for us? Like, what?
Well, you know what? I hope Alabama does play Notre Dame. My theory is that the college football playoff was expanded so Notre Dame could get in because every single year they shit the bed week 3 and they're out. And now they have a chance to make it when they shit the bed week 3. And I don't like it.
I think there's some truth to that, but I also think the reason why they extended it to 12 and then eventually it'll be expanded to 14 is because the Big Ten and the SEC. Listen, look at it right now. The Big Ten has how many? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. No,
4.
Indiana,
4.
Oregon, 4.
Yeah, Ohio
Yeah,
State, Oregon, Penn
Penn
State,
State.
Indiana.
Yeah, SEC has Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, Alabama. That's 4.
Yeah.
So
8 out of the 12 teams.
There's 8 out of 12 teams. So now we're talking about 6, 7, 8 teams that's fighting for 4 spots. What about Colorado? What about BYU? I mean, well, they're in, but yeah, BYU, they're in here. What about Miami? What about Clemson? They might still have something to say. They might win the fucking ACC. What about SMU? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's nasty on the low how the SEC and the Big Ten are jostling, but it's a money thing.
It's a money thing.
But I think that's why they're putting emphasis on these conference champions.
Which they should. You should be rewarded for winning your conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Notre Dame should never be a top 4 seed.
Unless they join a conference.
Unless they join a freaking conference.
Let's see. Let me look elsewhere. Listen. Last combo before we get up out of here. And I'm not really. Well, last combo for me before I let you end this on the WNBA. Ladies and gentlemen, to all my brothers and my sisters out here, we have our Black excellence.
Talk to me.
We have certain figures that, as Black people, we look at them as the pinnacle in which some of our greats, the pinnacle in which Black people can be seen in this country. I'm not talking about just athletically. Yes, it often starts there because athletes are some of the most popular people out here, but I'm talking about we have Black musicians who are greats. We have Black lawyers, greats, politicians, celebrities, scholars. There is certain Black excellence. So I say all this to say Mike Tyson is one of our Black greats. I don't know where you were in the 90s, but I can tell you if a Tyson fight was on, you were near a TV. You were near a TV.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how if you knew his story about how fighting from young to get to where he was at and the money that he made and how vulnerable he then became afterwards as he retired and dealt with all types of issues. You got to remember that there was once a bar that said, I want to be like Mike,
That's
Tyson,
right.
Jackson, Jordan.
Hello.
The holy trinity of Mikes. Listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers, are no longer undefeated. They lose to the Boston Celtics 117-120. I'm going to say that. I'm going to get on my Nick Castellanos moment right there. If you know, you know. A white man beat the hell out of one of our Black greats, and I ain't been happy about it since it happened. Yes, Mike got a 20 mil paycheck, and I'm happy that bread came in, but bruh, I can't go for that. I don't like it. I mean, it's listen, first off, we should have known by the rules. We should have known by the rules that this was some bullshit. You can't hit each other. You can't knock each other down, basically. I mean, Mike looked old. He looked slow. He looked like a 60-year-old man. I'm telling you, on the walk down, literally as Mike was walking to the ring, I was like, yo, dog, are we sure we want to see Mike do this? I think I said right before he came out there, I was like, stop the fight. Before he got in the ring, I said, stop the fight.
It was over.
WNBA draft, man. Go ahead.
I know where the draft lottery was last week. I mean, it was Sunday. All we need to know is right now is that the Dallas Wings have won the Paige Beckers contest. Your LA Sparks have the number 2 overall pick. Chicago has 3. Washington has 4. And the new Golden State Valkyries have the 5th overall pick.
Damn. How they only managed to get the 5th?
As a new franchise, it's insane, right? But they will also get a chance to, I think they get to pick one person off each roster and then one free agent to help round out the team. All I'll say is Dallas has a big question to answer this offseason about what they do with Enrique Gubawale, and that's probably the most interesting story of the entire WNBA offseason, for me anyway.
Who do you think the Lakers, I mean, not Lakers, the Sparks take at 2?
That's a great question.
Cameron Brink. Juju?
Yeah.
Not able to come
out. Nah, Juju's next year. No, Juju. Yeah, she's next year. And Flojo is next year too. That's gonna be a nasty draft. I don't know. Because the Sparks, like you probably need a guard. Because you got Rickea Jackson. She's your stretch. Like, she can handle the ball. You got Cameron Brink. You can really draft best player available. So that's a luxury. You don't have to reach for anybody. Because the only reason they're picking 2 is because Cameron Brink tore ACL.
They were doing all right.
Because they were balling when she was there. So that's it. That's all I got. Deep, before we get out of here, you got anything else?
Jake Paul, you ever put your hands on Mike Tyson like that again? Come on, did you watch it? Did you not?
No, fuck no, I didn't watch that.
Bruh,
no.
It got to a point where I was like, yo, dog, this is a 60-year-old man.
Jake Paul, fight a real fight. Fight someone real. That's all.
That's not retired past their prime or old.
Yep.
Because he did fight Tommy Fury.
Fight a real fighter.
He did. He fought one and lost.
That's what I'm saying. Fight real fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Danny, let the people know where they can find you, my good brother.
You can find me on the X app at DannyOcean41. I've also migrated to Blue Sky. Same handle, DannyOcean41. You can find us.
What the hell is Blue Sky and why?
Blue Sky is actually very nice. It's like Twitter without the porn, the bots, and the ads. Like you're talking to real people. It's like old Twitter.
Well, listen, no ass, no random ass commercials. No, listen, you lost me at no porn. Y'all can say what y'all want, but Twitter porn kind of fire. You just be scrolling down, you see somebody
speak on an _pod, Twitter, Instagram, Jesus, TikTok. Where can they find you other than watching Twitter porn?
Listen, you can find me at LosDMix. That's at LOSDEEMIX on all socials and Mixcloud and SoundCloud. I've been doing this thing where I've been dropping a new mix on Fridays because I usually practice on Fridays, and now I've been uploading that Friday mix a little bit more. And listen, people appreciate it. Dude, this has been a really good month of DJing. I'm gonna be honest with you, really good month.
Yeah, look, I'm following you on IG. It looks like it's going great.
Yeah, it's not going too bad.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Listen, people, don't commit crimes with checks. Listen, practice field goal attempts and blocking. If she says she love you, ask her why. 4, if it comes that easy, it's probably a setup. 5, you always want to let go of an aging vet before their prime, before their prime ends, not when their prime ends. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a great evening. Go Packers, go Hokies, and go Birds, depending on who you are. But definitely go Hokies and never go Who's.
Go to hell.
Ladies and gentlemen.